Okay, here we are. It's Thursday. And the good news is we don't have any more grammar to do. So, woohoo, that's a good thing, right? Thank you, Harmony. You're the only one with your camera on. So, um, William, are you there yet? Can you give me a thumbs up or something so I know you're there? William, I'm worried about you. I had a long conversation with him before you got on here, Harmony, and I'm just talking to myself today. So, anyway, we don't have grammar, so we're going to jump right into our last big paper. And I know this is a big deal. Um, it's a big paper, and it's kind of new for you to be doing this type of research, but it's good for you. And once you get into more high school classes and even beyond that, you're going to know what to do because at least you'll have this little experience here. Now, sometimes research papers can be a lot longer than this one. I'm only going to make it 5 paragraphs. So they're just going to be really good paragraphs. So that's why we got to take our time on it and really get down to the nitty gritty with what you're going to write. So, I want to look at your Google Doc where you recorded the links. You've cut or copied and pasted the links in there and the names of the Supreme Court cases. So since Caden and William are kind of here, but not fully here yet, I'm going to start with you, Harmony, okay? So let me share my screen. I saw that you filled in some of the boxes. You did a good job with that. Let's look at that really quick. So today we're going to decide on which one you're going to write about um, because we're starting to write this week. So I see that you have, and I don't know all these cases, by the way, but I'm sure you already talked to your mom about these things. But the first one you have listed here, Sony Corp of America v. Universal City Studios. That's kind of interesting, whatever that was from 1984. And then you have another one here, Nix v. Hedden. Whether tomatoes should be classified as a fruit or a vegetable. Are you serious? They had a case about that? Oh my gosh. I guess because it was 1893. Okay, that's funny. Wow. Maybe they didn't have anything else to do in 1893, but talk about tomatoes. Okay, that's funny. Okay, and the other one is United States v. Cosby, I guess. Is that 1946? Okay. Cosby, I'm not sure what that one is, but Harmony, is there one that you want to pick from those three? Was there one that you thought was your favorite out of those to look to research? Because we had to pick one today. So it could be your choice one, choice two, or choice three. It's up to you which one sounds the most interesting.
Which one? VCR. The VCR, choice one.
Yes.
So the Sony Corp.
Okay. Did she say VCR?
Yeah,
Is that what it's about? Oh,
yeah.
interesting. That is interesting. I'm kind of curious about that one too. So I saw that you guys were able to find the Justia link. Did you,
hmm
was it not on the
It,
Constitution Center?
it wasn't in there, or
Okay,
at least
that's okay.
we couldn't find it.
I'm gonna try something really quick here because oops, that is not what I wanted to do. I'm trying to copy that. It's not letting me copy it. Oh wait, I know what I need to do. Hold on. If you just Google it, I don't know if you guys tried that, but sometimes if you just go to Google, um, it'll give some more links here. It looks like you already have this one, but it looks like it is in OYES. Sometimes it's hard to search in OYES, but I'll stick this in there for you so you have the link inside your homework there. For OYAs. That way you have them all here, and that way you can I always forget I'm on a Mac and it doesn't like the right click here. Okay. So that way you have all your links collected there is what I was trying to say. And then if I scroll through here, this is my Google search. We don't use Wikipedia because it's not super reliable, so we're not going to use that one. But there are some other sites here. This one, I've used this one before, Library of Congress. This one is probably going to be just the actual script. Yeah, so this one might be a little hard to get through. Let me see if there's a better one here. This is also a PDF. Oh, this might be useful. It's short, but it might be useful. We are going to talk about the plaintiff. I'll stick that link in there in case you want to use, oops, in case you want to use that link. Um, ah, I care. Because your goal is to have 3 sources. So you can, and even later, if you want to look at other sites, this one looks pretty good too, actually. You can use sites outside of what I put in that doc. I'm just going to add, let's see. There we go. Insert row below. Sorry, I'm a little challenged here. All right, well, there's some extra sites for you guys to use. And like I said, if you find other stuff, you can use whatever you use. Just try to collect your links so that when we go to work on that bibliography page at the end, you'll be able to plug those in and it'll make that part a lot easier to do. So what amendment, do you know what amendment that case used in the case? Is it the First Amendment, maybe? Sony contributed copyright infringement of their copyrighted works by marketing video cassette recorders. Oh. Interesting. We'll have to look at that. Usually there's an amendment that they're looking at. I wonder if it is the First Amendment, I'm going to guess. Not sure though. Oh my goodness.
What amendment does it say it's about?
Did you guys find that? You didn't see that?
The First Amendment, freedom of speech.
Okay. That's what I was thinking, but that's the only amendment that kind of makes sense to me. Did you guys try to search it this way too on here?
Yeah.
Okay, you did. Okay. So when you write about the amendment, well, let me talk about that. Okay, so that's your case. You're going to do that one about the Sony and Universal Studios. I have too many tabs here. That's part of my problem, but let me write this down. Kaden, are you there?
At the website?
Or just on the Zoom, because I haven't heard you talk yet, so I'm glad you're there. Yeah, so look at your list that you have. If you can open up your Google Classroom and go to your doc there. Sony Corp of America. I'm just writing this down for myself. City Studios. And look at the cases that you researched. Or you don't have anything there yet. Have you looked yet, Kaden? Have you done any research on any of the Supreme Court cases yet?
No.
Okay. So it's going to be a little hard to get caught up. You really need to pick a case. So if you want to do that right now, go to constitutioncenter.org and start looking at some cases. If there's a certain amendment that you're interested in, or just surf around on there and see if you can find a case that looks interesting to you. Okay. You really should decide today because you guys need to start writing this week. Let me know if you have any questions, Kaden. And then William, are you there on the Zoom? Okay, so you need to turn your camera on and talk to me for a second. So I see your list of cases here. You've got New York Time Company v. Sullivan, Bailey v. Alabama, and Crawford v. Washington. Is there one that you liked more than the others that you would be interested in writing a paper on? Which case do you want to pick?
The first one.
The first one. Okay, New York Time Company v. Sullivan. Yes, you can do that one. So that'll be your case. All right. New York Time Sullivan. It looks like it was in 1963. Okay, so the next step here is I need you to get out a piece of lined paper. So everybody get out a piece of lined paper. We are going to start working on the keyword outline, getting that set up so you know where you're headed in this paper. Now, this paper will ultimately be 5 paragraphs, but this week you're writing 3. Okay, this week is 3 paragraphs. We're going to break it up and go ahead and put your name here at the top, and the today's date is 5/7/26. Skip a line, and then I want you to go ahead and write the name of your case here. So for Harmony, Sony Corp of America v. Universal Studios. For William, New York Time Company Corporation v. Sullivan. Kaden, you should be hopefully narrowing it down for you, but go ahead and pause on your search, Kaden, so we can at least get your outline set up here, okay? And when you can, I would like your camera on so I can see you. Go ahead and skip a line. We're going to start with Roman numeral 1. Roman numeral 1 is the introduction. And we will use a template or a worksheet for the introduction and conclusion like we've been doing from your book or from your book, but we'll figure that out later. That's when we have a template to use. We use like attention getter and background and all that stuff. So we're not going to write it out here on this lined paper. So what I just want you to put here is Roman numeral 1 introduction. We're holding that spot for the first paragraph. And then I want you to skip one line and put Roman numeral 2. And then I want you to write 1 through 7. And 7 is going to be optional, okay? And then that word clincher and topic up here. Remember, the paragraphs 2, 3, and 4 are your body paragraphs of your paper. That's the format. So when we write in this class, we write our essays from the inside out. So we start with the middle of the paper, the body paragraphs, and then we write the introduction and conclusion. Yes, Kaden?
What are the options?
Are you saying what are the options for the court cases?
Yeah.
You get to pick. It's wide open. You were supposed to do research with your mom though, so you might have to wait for her just so that she approves of the case you're looking at, but you can see what you can find. Do you remember how we did it last week? Were you there in class?
I think I was there, but I don't remember.
Okay, we went to constitutioncenter.org. But let me show you that in a minute, okay? I'd rather you focus on this so you don't miss this part, okay? So just pause on your research right now and get out a lined piece of paper. All right, for Roman numeral 2 right here, I'm gonna have you put the word amendment and then blank. So whatever amendment went with your case. So like Harmony said, hers was First Amendment, so you would put a 1 there. It's the First Amendment. And then William, do you know what amendment is in your case about New York Times?
I think it was the first.
Okay, I think so too. So go ahead and put a 1 there. And then in your first sentence, you're going to generically say, well, let's say this. You're going to actually quote the Constitution of the United States. So you're going to give a direct quote here. So I want you in parentheses in number 1 here, and this is where I'm going to break off of our regular 3 words on our outline. We're going to write a little sentence here. So you're going to put a direct quote. This is a note for you of amendment. I'm just going to abbreviate that in D. And the direct quote is going to come from Constitution Center. You're going to have to write kind of small here, .org. So you're going to say something like this. According to the United States Constitution, the First Amendment says blank. Now I'm going to pause for a second and show you what that's going to look like. I'll come back to that if you didn't get to write that down totally yet. Here's how that sentence is going to look. This is the Fourth Amendment. I was modeling this for a different class, but see how I put 2 because this would be a prepositional opener. According to the United States Constitution, the Fourth Amendment states, comma, and then you actually copy and paste directly from constitutioncenter.org. And then right after the quote, you're going to put that website in parentheses. This is how you reference a quote on a research paper. So let me show you in the constitutioncenter.org. And you can go there with me or watch me either way. I'm going to go to amendments here under the Constitution. And since 2 of yours is the First Amendment, I'm going to click on that one. When you click on the First Amendment, this paragraph right here is the actual verbiage of the amendment in the Constitution. So this is where you would copy and paste, and you would say, according to the United States Constitution, the First Amendment states, comma, quote, and then you will copy this. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, and the rest of it. And then at the end of that quote, in parentheses, put constitutioncenter.org. That is how you're going to start your first body paragraph. Any questions about that? Okay. Oh, let me show you again. Sorry, let me show you one more thing. Also, in that Roman numeral 2, you're going to click on the first interpretations and debate bar here. And I'm recording this class if you need to go back and listen to this again, because I know this is a lot to take in. And I'm going to scroll down here. This is where we were last week, looking at Supreme Court cases that were further down here. But at the beginning of this, these first few paragraphs are talking about the background or the history of the amendment. See how it starts with America's earliest settlers came from a variety of religious backgrounds. Puritans predominated in New England, Anglicans predominated in the South, and it's telling you what religions came in. During colonial times, the Church of England was established by law in all the southern colonies, while localized Puritan establishments held sway in most New England states. This is telling you a little bit of a background of the religion. And then the church and the establishment clause. Now, if yours is talking more about the freedom of speech, what I would do is go back and check each one of these bars here about interpretations here. This is also talking about the immigrants coming in. I'm just kind of scanning here. This is mostly talking about religion. But you will see as you read through these, that's why it's going to take you some time. You're going to read through these and look for information that talks about the freedom of speech. But this is where you'll find it. Under the First Amendment, under where the definition of the First Amendment, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different spots you can click. Interpretations and debate. Oh, this one. This one's talking about free speech. This is the one you would use right here. If I click on that. Yeah, this is the one. I should have checked that first. So if your case, like I think both Williams and Harmony's is going to have to do with free speech. So use this page right here to help you on Roman numeral 2 of your outline. Does anybody have any questions right now about that? Okay. Okay. So here's something else I want to explain to you. I think I mentioned it last week. And first of all, I want to say you have to check with your parents on this. Please check with your parents first on this, okay? But ChatGPT is a tool. And some parents love it, some parents don't. And if your parent or grandparent or whoever's doing your homeschooling says, do not use ChatGPT, then do not use it, okay? I'm telling you that because I want to make sure they are in charge here. I'm just suggesting it. If they say, oh, it's okay, you can use it, then you can use it as a tool, not a resource. There's a big difference between the two things, okay? A tool meaning as you're reading through this and you're confused as what it means, you can highlight some paragraphs like that and copy and paste it in ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to put it in simple terms for you. And it will. And that is purely for you to understand what it means, not as a source. So you will not copy and paste from ChatGPT. Do not do that. It is just a tool to help you understand, because a lot of this has big legal language in it that may be a little confusing to you. So if you're reading this and you're a little confused over what it means, check with your parent first, and maybe just even ask your parent, what does this mean? Can you explain this to me? And have them explain it, or ask them if it's okay to use ChatGPT. Any questions about that I just said? No, okay. Because ChatGPT is only purely a tool. It's not perfect. And it's not a source. You cannot use ChatGPT as a source, okay? It is not, it's not clean enough yet. It still has problems. So it's only used to help you understand in simpler language. It's good at that. I will say that. It's not good at researching everything though for you. So, okay. That's Roman numeral 2. Let's go back to our KWO here. Now we're going to skip a line. Let's go to Roman numeral 3. Same thing, number 1 through 7. Clincher topic up here. So again, Roman numeral 2 up here, this is all about the amendment. You're talking about the amendment. And you might notice in your case, that you're researching, there might be more than one amendment that it's talking about in the case. So if there is, mention them both, okay? Or sometimes there's even three. But sometimes there's just like one main amendment. The next paragraph here is going to be one side of the case. So if you think about your case, whenever there's a court case, there are two sides to the case. There's the side that's doing the suing. That side is called the plaintiff. And then there's the side that's being sued, and that side is called the defendant. So there's two sides to all cases, even in the Supreme Court case, the plaintiff and the defendant. So you're going to talk about the plaintiff first. So I'm going to have you put plaintiff here. And remember, that is the one doing the suing. So when you're researching, like for Harmony's Sony Corp of America v. Universal Studios, I'm pretty sure it's Universal Studios that was doing the suing, I think, in that. Suing Sony, or maybe it's the other way around. But anyway, you have to check and see which side is doing the suing, which one is the one that feels like they were wronged. And for you, William, you'll have to look at both sides of yours and see which one is doing the suing. And this is also where I'm going to put in parentheses, let's see. I'm going to just put and introduce case. So this is where you're going to start that first sentence with something like an example of how the First Amendment was used in a Supreme Court case is Sony Corp of America v. Universal Studios. So you start with an example of, like an example of a case. Okay, so you're transitioning from talking about the amendment, now giving an example of a case and focusing on the plaintiff here. So this is where you're going to use those other sites, Oyez, Justia, or whatever site you need to talk about what happened. Give the little background, like why is the plaintiff mad? Why is the plaintiff suing? What happened and what led to that? Any questions about that? No? Okay. So, and then we have one more body paragraph. This one's going to be Roman numeral 4, and this is going to be the defendant. And you're going to talk about, we're going to do 1 through 7. I'm going to use the back of my paper here. 5, and then I'm going to turn it over to the back for 6 and 7. The topic here. This is the defendant now. This is who was being sued and what was their response to being sued? What did they say? How did they think they were right in what they did? Turn this over and do 7 is optional and then clincher. When you're writing this, I want you to remember to not give away the result of the case yet. Keep that till your conclusion. Okay, so as you're talking about the case, you're introducing the amendment, you're introducing the plaintiff and the case itself and the plaintiff. You might have to mention some things about the defendant in there, but focus mostly on the plaintiff and then focus mostly on the defendant. And then we'll save the result for the conclusion. And then we're going to talk about in the conclusion, we're going to talk about what the result of the case was and what impact it had in our country. Most of the time, the result of the case will actually create a law or some kind of a policy, mostly a law, that affects how we do things. That's why we're looking at that. So skip a line and we'll do Roman numeral 5 here. And this is the conclusion. And this part we will work on next week, okay? Your goal this week is just the 3 main body paragraphs. Okay, I'm going to pause here for a second. Does anybody have any questions about anything we just talked about? Okay. Okay. Just to recap, your first body paragraph is going to come from Constitution Center. You're going to copy that exact wording of the amendment. And I'm recommending you start that sentence with according to, and you can use that as a number 2 opener because you have that on your checklist. And then giving information about the amendment in that first body paragraph. Now, 7 is optional, so you have to have at least 6 facts. It's not too bad. You guys can find that. You'll be surprised at how much information is on these websites, okay? And then same for each of these. Introduce the case, focus on who's doing the suing and why, and what happened, and what their reasoning is for suing, and then focus on the defendant. Why did they feel like they needed to defend themselves? Maybe there was a reason for what they did, and maybe they can justify that. Okay. So this is where I'm going to give you some time in class so that if you have any questions as you're looking at these websites, I'm here for you. So this would be a good time for you, Kaden, and I can help you look at cases. And as far as Harmony and William, I recommend you guys start at constitutioncenter.org on your computer and start researching the amendment. And remember, the rest of these, even though I used way more than 3 words here, the rest of this outline should be 3 keywords only. And then numbers and symbols and abbreviations are okay. And that protects you from plagiarism. So you want to just take keywords from sentences and list them here and then use this for your writing. Okay. Hopefully that made sense. I'm thinking, I told the other class this too. I was like, either that made perfect sense and everybody's totally fine, or everybody's lost and they don't even know what question to ask. So hopefully it's not that. But I'm going to be right here. You guys take some time to research. You can unmute and talk to me. This is kind of a free-flowing day in class because this is a big research paper. So I want to give you time to research with me here. And let me know if you guys have questions. Okay, so I'm going to check in with Kaden first. So Kaden, can you unmute?
Yeah.
Okay, so were you able to go to Constitution Center?
How do you spell it?
Okay, you know what? Let me put it in the chat, actually. I'll put it in the chat just so you can click on it. Might be easier that way. And we looked at this last week, so it should be kind of familiar to you. I wonder if for you, Kaden, because I know that religion is important to you, is that something you would be interested in looking into a case about, like a case about freedom of religion?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? Okay, because there's what we can start with is go to that tab on Constitution Center where it says the Constitution, and then go to the amendments right here. It summarizes what these amendments are. So freedom of religion, speech, press. This one has to do with firearms, the right to bear arms. Quartering soldiers, that may be, those cases are going to be older cases, if that's interesting to you. That was during the Revolutionary War time when they were soldiers and Civil War, needed to stay at somebody's house. They would just it gave them a right to just stay at their house without any warning. They would just show up at their door and say, "We need a place to sleep. We need some food." Some of these are talking about the jury cases, court cases, like how they're resolved, speedy trial. These have to do with trial. This one, Eighth Amendment, is cruel and unusual punishment. There's a few there that I think there's a case from a school case where a kid, because before I think it was in the 60s, they used to spank kids actually with a paddle. I think we talked about that last week, but when they got in trouble at school. So one of the principals spanked the kid a little too much, and the parents sued the principal for that. So that's those types of cases there. It also talks about like prison punishment. So I don't know, that one might be a little hard to research. You'll have to check your mom with her on that. Let's see. This one has to do with election rules for president and vice president. This one has to do with slavery, equal citizenship rights, and the right to vote. There's also in that one women's right to vote. Oh no, just kidding. That one's the 19th Amendment. So as you scroll, do you see anything that's like, I wonder what that's about? And I want to know more, like right to vote at age 18. Something like that. What do you think, Kaden?
I'm not sure. I'm still looking.
Okay, you keep looking. I'll look too on my end. And I'll let you know if I find something. Here's one, Kaden, if you might be interested in this one called Tinker v. Des Moines. And that was from the 60s. There were some kids at a high school that wore a black band around their arm in protest of the Vietnam War. And they were suspended. I think they were suspended from school for wearing the band. They were just exercising their freedom of speech. And it went to court, and the kids actually won that case. So saying that students still have the freedom of speech on campus, as long as it doesn't disrupt teaching, if it doesn't disrupt the school. It was a silent protest. They just had a band on their arm. So there's that, if you're interested in that one. Or like I said, the one about it was in 1977 that junior high student was severely paddled by a principal, resulting in medical attention. And the parents sued the principal, and the parents won that case. And that changed how schools discipline now, because teachers are not allowed to touch students like at all. So they can't punish physically anymore because of that case.
Where do you find the articles?
So I'm actually doing a Google search right now, but go to, let me share my screen so you can see what I'm doing. You should still be on Constitution Center. And those are both. Okay, let me ask you this, Kaden. Are you interested in one of those, or you want to see where you can see a list of cases?
Probably the list.
Okay. On constitutioncenter.org, click Constitution, and then under Dive Deeper, there's Supreme Court Cases Library. You see that on yours?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you click that, here's a list. The hard part about this is you'll need to kind of scrub through them, meaning open them and read a little summary of them. And if it's not something like this health organization, you might not be interested in something like that. But here's something about the Roman Catholic Church. And here's another religious one, Our Lady of Guadalupe School. So here's the list of cases beginning with most recent. And then you see on the left where there's the amendments listed. So if you're interested in something that has to do with freedom of speech, you would click the First Amendment over here on the side. And then it narrows down your list to First Amendment cases. If you keep scrolling past the amendments on the left here, there's some other categories too. I'm opening these to Kaden. Do you see anything yet that looks interesting? Trying to help you find something.
Think I'm gonna do the the one it's Stromberg or something. V and then California, and it was a law for people who are in California where they couldn't display a red flag in any public space.
And that was a in this list for the First Amendment.
I think so.
What was the first name? Can you spell it?
Uh, STROM and then and then the same BERG.
V and is V United States or V California?
V California.
Oh, I'm gonna look that up. That's interesting. Sounds familiar though. I think I've heard about that one. Oh yeah, okay. I see it. Returned a conviction under this law on the First Amendment grounds the first time that the Supreme Court. William, did you have a question? Or Kaden? Oh, okay.
I have to go because I have another class, but thank you very much, and I'll do more research and stuff.
Okay, Kaden, so that'll be your case. I'll write that down for you. And then did you get to write down your KWO and get it ready?
No, not yet, but I'll do that like today or tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good. Let me know if you need any help between times, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, bye-bye. How's yours coming, William? Are you finding information okay? Can you hear me, William? Harmony, how are you doing? Are you finding good information for your paper?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's good. We have about 5 more minutes, so you can keep going. And
Finish amendment.
oh,
Section
good.
two.
Section 2,
And
Section 3,
what are you working on?
64.
Wow. Yay. Good job, Harmony. That's awesome.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Very good. So you're going to be ready. I'll show you guys what checklist you're going to use. I am going to attach it to the homework assignment, okay? And I picked one from a different class from a binder. Remember back when we used to have a binder? So I'll show you from a different class here, just so you know what it looks like. Um, Oops, okay, hold on. Here we go. Okay, so this is from a different class. Forget about where it says Oceania because that's not what you're writing about, obviously. But I will attach this to your homework this week. Notice on the structure here, it says no, I, my, we, us, and you. So this is an informational essay. Okay, so you're just giving information about what the amendment is, what the Supreme Court case is in the two sides, and then the result in the conclusion and the impact. In the conclusion next week, we'll talk about this next week, you will give your opinion in the conclusion only. Okay, so you're going to save it till the very end, and then you can say what you think. And in that part of the paper, you can use I or my or me, in my opinion, things like that. Okay, there's the, don't worry about the introduction and conclusion yet. You're focusing on the body of your paper. So you do need topic clincher sentences that repeat or reflect 2 to 3 keywords, highlight or bold. And then you have your 6 dress ups. You guys are used to that. All 5 paragraphs. Your paragraphs this week are paragraph 2, 3, and 4. Remember, we're writing from the inside out, so we're focusing on the inside of the paper first. And you have 3 openers. You've already got the prepositional opener for your second, or for Roman numeral 2, because you're going to say, according to the United States Constitution, okay, and ly opener and a VSS. And then watch out for your banned words. So you can print this when you get it on your Google Classroom and then use it to check off items as you go. William, can you hear me okay? Okay, because I was checking in with you earlier. Were you able to find some information?
Oh, yes.
Okay, good. So how far did you get on your outline?
I was mostly doing research, but I finished like the first part.
Okay, so that's fine. I know it's kind of hard to do at the same time, but yes, make sure that you take down your notes on your outline because I will have you guys take a picture of your outline to upload to the homework too, so I can see how you found things. Any questions? I know this is different for you guys, so any questions before you go about anything? No? Okay. Focus on those 3 body paragraphs. And then next week we'll do introduction and conclusion. And then the week after that, I'm going to show you how to make a Google slideshow. That'll be fun. We'll do Google slideshow and bibliography. This is like your big final paper. So you guys got this. Let me know in between. Best way to get a hold of me is texting me. Okay. I know you both have parents that have my number. So text me if it's like, I'm not sure what to do about this. I can answer that quicker than an email. Okay. All right, you guys, that's it for today. Good job. William's like, I'm out.
Bye.
Bye, Harmony. See you next week.